Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. I was going to do a live stream this morning, but my wife has the day off from work, and I prefer doing it when no one else is in the house, just because it cuts down on the possibility of anything goofy happening, uh, distractions, and yeah, we've seen those videos where the kid is not taking her nap as she's supposed to. Um, Anyways, on to the news. Well, as for domestic stuff, it looks like Alex Jones has filed Chapter 11 protection. He's got a somewhat lengthy video explaining that, about how a bunch of the people, the creditors he owes to, are trying to claim that he has money that doesn't exist. And so uh, Chapter 11 is a way of exposing what accounts the company has, how much they actually have, and then settling whatever debt needs to be taken care of. So fully understand that. And yes, I have seen where people are saying, well, it is under bankruptcy law. Yeah, there's quite a bit that's under bankruptcy law, and not all of it actually deals with bankruptcy. So, other news, Netflix has, they've dropped their value by 25%. I was seeing some really crazy posts from them on Twitter where they were officially saying they're looking into doing advertising on their platform, their streaming service, which I have to say is one of the most annoying things about other streaming platforms like Hulu. Um, I'm starting to think that even though HBO Max doesn't really have that much to offer, uh, they might come out on top with this if they stick to not having any ads. Currently, I am enjoying Tokyo Vice. I read the book several years ago. Happy to see that it's fairly decent Netflix series now. Definitely could not do it as a movie. There's way too much to go into and try to cram that into an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, so I would suggest checking out Tokyo Vice. It's definitely entertaining, educational at the same time, and you learn quite a bit. And it's not the cliche American move to Japan movie. Um, there's always those stupid things that they try to point out to the dumb Americans. It doesn't do that. It dives into other details of the culture instead. So um, it's not a dumbed down version of what Japan is like. Not that I would know. Never been there. Just read quite a bit about it. So moving on. Let's see here. Well, Russia is doing their main offensive on the eastern side of Ukraine, concentrating on Donbass. Some MSNBC reporter quit his job and joined the Ukrainian military. Good for you, dude. That was kind of a weird post on Twitter that people were sharing. Uh, Showed a picture of himself in uniform and said, tired of talking, time for some action, something like that. Yeah, so there's an article about him on Zero Hedge now. They're saying that rice production, farming and harvest is going to be down about 10%, and that means that possibly millions could starve. Um, I do know that rice is a main staple for a lot of third world countries. I never thought that a 10% drop would mean that much. It also means that they weren't growing it and producing a surplus. It means that basically everything that they grow was going to market and being sold. That's the problem with this supply chain system that we have now. I kind of blame the 1950s for that. During the Great Depression, FDR had a program where whatever surplus crops were not sold on the market, the government would buy and they would stockpile in case there was an emergency. Seems like a good idea. Then other people came in and said, no, you're tinkering with the market and you should stay out of it. So they stopped doing that. Yeah. So we're allowed to do that with oil for some reason, not allowed to do that with crops. It was also a good way of making sure that farmers were paid for their harvest as opposed to paying them not to grow, which is another stupid policy that they keep expanding on at a time where we really, really, really don't need it. I believe, I don't have the article with me, but they're saying now because of the fighting in Ukraine, 30% of crops in Ukraine will not be planted. I'm pretty sure they're just counting on not getting anything out of Ukraine and Russia this year or possibly future years to come. So this article was a little behind the curve, if you will. Other people have already written about this, and just no surprise there. Nothing we didn't already know. So sometime next week, the EU is supposed to start enforcing a ban on importing Russian gas. Germany is flipping out, saying that it's going to affect their industry, as it will. They're also saying that oil will skyrocket to $185 a barrel, which we've never seen before. We thought $130 a barrel was bad in 2009. Well, let's see what happens when it hits 185, and Biden is still shipping our oil from the strategic preserve to Europe. I covered that yesterday. Isn't that great? It was supposed to go to, it never goes where they say it's going to go. It's kind of like the lottery in Michigan. Oh, it goes to help education and fund our schools. Then how come the schools never have any goddamn money? I don't get that. It's because they go and they start these programs and then they see the surplus and they say, oh, well, all of this can't possibly go to the schools. We can use it here, we can use it there. Next thing you know, it's going everywhere but where they said the money was going to go, in which case they should probably just stop the program. Not big on gambling, and I'm especially not big on gambling for areas who are already financially hurting. Michigan is not one of those states known for great employment opportunities. But man, does the state love to take advantage of people who might have a problem with gambling. So, anyways, yeah, our oil's being shipped over to Europe when it's supposed to be set aside in case the military needs to use it for some emergency. Brilliant. Well, the next couple of days are supposed to be in the 40s and 50s, and Saturday it's supposed to be 70, and hopefully I can start getting some things done around here. Like, seriously done. The chicks that I bought are getting big enough with their adult feathers that, as the weather warms up, they can be moved outside. And I still have to finish this coop. The run itself, not that big of an issue. I'll be able to get that up in no time. But the main issue is getting the coop built, making sure everything is secure. And unfortunately, due to a malfunction on behalf of the incubator, there's the possibility we might only have one egg that hatches from what I gathered before. There was at least 10 that I know that were fertilized, but there was one night where I woke up and the damn thing, the temp was reading I'm guessing like 110 maybe, way too high. And the thing is finicky. If there is a change in room temperature, humidity, all kinds of things, but if there's a slight change, the machine itself will react differently. I don't know if that's what happened. I try to keep an eye on it as much as I can, but yeah, for some reason I woke up, the eggs were really, really warm, and I think that killed off a lot of the chicks that were growing. So that's unfortunate. Now we've got like a good 24 eggs that just can't do anything with. Sorry, not Filipino. I'm not eating that nasty shit. And they're not duck eggs. So that's where we're at. I might have 7 new birds. If that other egg actually hatches. But I'll keep my fingers crossed and see what happens, and maybe I'll get lucky with that. Kind of had a feeling a couple days ago when I wasn't seeing anything change in the eggs. Trying to see what the hell is in this tree. Oh, I see movement. And it looks like a red squirrel. Really hate those guys. They're the tiniest little assholes in the world. They just piss me off. Really destructive. Really, really freaking aggressive when it comes to their territory. And they bark and yell at me all the time. One day I'm just going to have to go out back with the shotgun and set them straight. But anyways, that's about it for me. And hope everyone's having a good day. Keep on typing.